Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. How are we all doing? And this is a sort of a breaking news sort of situation that I've just come on to talk about. Today I was going to do an announcement video which will be coming later on, so stay tuned for that. And if you want to stay tuned for anything that I bring out content wise, then please subscribe, please like and comment below. And what on earth has happened to Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, and what on earth is going on at Chelsea as an overall sort of theme of this video? That's what I'll be talking about, that's what I'll be discussing in this quick video. Obviously it came out of the blue, sort of. Did it Chelsea fans, or was it sort of right on the wall for Thomas Tuchel? Because obviously last night's result at Zagreb wasn't the best for you, was it? Now the sort of first thing that I wrote down here was it deserved? Because obviously Thomas Tuchel's won the Champions League with Chelsea only about 2 years ago, or just under 2 years ago. Obviously they finished in Champions League places. It was a Rizzler paper away from a double last season. They only lost against Liverpool in 2 finals, wasn't it? I think most people are thinking it's a bit rushed, this, and I think the only people who aren't thinking this are Chelsea fans, weirdly enough, because obviously last season they had the troubles under Roman Abramovich and all the Russian issues that came along with that, and it almost gave them like a free pass last season, because whoever was in charge at the time, they could easily fall back on the fact that Chelsea were under all this unsettlement in the club, and they still had the team there. So it's a bit of a weird conundrum in terms of a Chelsea fan last season. It was sort of, you were just going through the paces, and it was just sort of a free hit, like I said, and you still finished in the top 4, which is commendable ish, but they did spend a lot of money previously under Abramovich over the last 15-20 years. I know you've obviously got to spend big in the Premier League now, but under Tuchel, who has a proven track record under Dortmund and PSG, he should be progressing a lot more than what he was previously, because at the start of the season with Lukaku, who did fail ultimately, as well as Timo Werner ultimately failed as well. Them 2 players as a front 2 should have thrived in the Premier League, and there's only one person that you can sort of blame for that, and that is Tuchel. Tuchel has come out and said that he feels like Chelsea over the recent weeks has felt like an academy rather than an actual first team. And Chelsea's Common Academy is insane, so I would see that as more of a positive than a negative. But Tuchel isn't really known for his progression under players and bringing back the likes of Aubameyang this season. This is where the sort of confusion with Todd Bowley and the new regime there. You think, oh, it's going to be a new policy here, isn't it? Apparently not, because they spend 300 million this summer, and within 6 games of the new season, he's out the door again, and it seems like the same policy under a new ownership. I mean, you look at the sort of end of the last season, and they were poor results, weren't they? So the writing was on the wall a little bit, and he needed to kick on this season for him to not look like he's going to get sacked. And under the last regime, they lost against Leeds and Southampton and Zagreb, like I said. The way that we've been conditioned now as a Chelsea, not a Chelsea fan, but looking into the Chelsea sort of policy, is that they are under the cosh every loss that they have, and they don't really give them time to, come back onto the results that the poor results that they had previously. Like I said before, he brought Fofana for 75 million. They spent 300 million, including Aubameyang, who Chelsea brought in Aubameyang for Tuchel. They did well at Borussia Dortmund, and he is a bit of a risk. And you think that the only reason why you would bring back Aubameyang to the Premier League is because of Tuchel, and they only had 1 game together, and they offloaded the likes of Tammy Abraham a couple of seasons ago because he doesn't like the young players, does he? They got rid of Billy Gilmore to Brighton, and we'll talk about Brighton in a second, by the way. And he's been heavily involved in transfers this summer, and I feel like you do get the sort of vibe this season alone that Tuchel is burnt out, essentially, and I feel like the writing was on the wall for himself rather than just what happens on the pitch, more off the field. What happened against Tottenham and what happened at Lukaku last season. The way he's been involved in transfers, it feels like the manager's picking the transfers for Chelsea this season rather than the chairman and the DOF for the manager. It does seem like a bit of a mess at Chelsea at the minute, and we all know Chelsea will come through it because of the money. Money gets you through a lot of issues, doesn't it? But the chairman, like I said at the start of the season, it looks like a complete mess, doesn't it, at Chelsea? And I don't think I put him in the top 4 as predictions, and I think that so far is coming true. Bit of a knee-jerk reaction, like I always say on this channel. This is now in the past, isn't it? But weirdly enough, Tuchel is now gone. He probably will manage another Premier League team in the future, I'm sure. I'm sure that definitely. But there's the 2 or 3 options now that Chelsea should go for, and I feel like one of them is the most obvious. Now, you've got Potter, you've got Zidane, and you've got Pochettino. And obviously Zidane would be the sort of a Rolex-esque manager for Chelsea. And to be honest with you, he's a sort of player name that they could attract. And I mean, you spend 300 million in the summer. Who doesn't want to come to Chelsea at this rate? And he has got a good record at Real Madrid. Obviously, he's not there anymore, but it seems like PSG is the one for him right now. Pochettino, obviously known for his projects at Espanyol and Southampton and Tottenham. But the only thing I could say about that is I've just said Tottenham, haven't I? And Chelsea and Tottenham have this massive rivalry. Now, obviously, Conte is at Tottenham now, but Conte, I don't think he has much loyalty in football, and I could be a hypocrite because there's no loyalty in football anymore. But finally, Graham Potter, which seems like the obvious one. He's come up through the ranks at Sands and at Swansea and now Brighton, and I feel like the last couple of seasons with any sort of big side, Graham Potter seems to be linked with any sort of side. He's shown that he could play in a back 3 at Brighton as well as the clubs he was previously at, so fitting into his teams, as you can see here. You got the Brighton team who've got a back 3 the last couple of seasons, as well as the Chelsea team in the last couple of seasons, so it seems like a seamless fit. Obviously Cucurella's there as well. Weirdly enough, Brighton did just buy Billy Gilmore, so it's a shame that he left 2 days before Tuchel got the sack. Again, alluding to the fact that it's such weird timing that they do this now instead of the start of the season. Yeah, I think Potter will be the correct sort of manager for you. I know one of my mates is a Brighton fan and he won't be too pleased by that, but it seems like the obvious one. Brighton, I'm sure, have somebody in the pipeline just in case something like this happens, and I don't think they're naive to think that something like this would happen. I'll pass it on to you guys. What do you think about this? Was it too quick for Chelsea to sack the manager? Who do you think the next manager will be? Where do you think Chelsea will finish this season? Because it's just a mess at the minute and they need sorting out, and I'm sure they will do. I don't think they're quite going to finish in the top 4, and I think that's it, guys. I think that's all I need to say about Thomas Tuchel. He'll get tens of millions of pounds in compensation, so I don't think he's that disappointed. And like I said, he was a bit burnt out towards the end, so he's probably got his feet up, chilling out on the beach somewhere, south of France probably. An announcement will be on the next video. Stay tuned for that one, guys. Please subscribe, comment below, and like the video, please, and peace.